Hello, welcome, and goodbye to this house. I'm making it into this house today. This is an 1870s, 1880s Victorian house that's actually French and has an incredibly confusing floor plan. Yeah. Honestly, though, the Goth family home probably is one of the best, Sims team made houses in the game, and we got it in base game, so that's that's okay, I guess. I never liked it going from, because you guys, if you listen to me ever, I didn't really play Sims 3 that much. I honestly don't remember what the Goth family house looked like in Sims 3. I don't remember it at all. It's completely wiped from my memory. That's probably a bad thing. But anyways, okay, so I just looked it up and it actually does look pretty creepy, even more so than the Sims 2 version. And it has the whole graveyard in front of it. I completely forgot about this. But yeah, okay, so Sims 3 Goth Family House is kind of in the same realm as this type of house that I'm making for this video, which is much more Victorian, much more just kind of spooky and weird. It's actually somewhat similar to the Sims 3 house, actually, for the Goth family. So that's cool. I just don't really care for this version that came with Sims 4. I feel like it didn't quite do them justice. It's not really their style. It's not the full shebang as they should have done for the whole game, but they gave us such a watered down version of The Sims. And I'm not upset. A little bit. I'm a little upset about it. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Pretty much every house I'm building in The Sims now is just kind of to make it more like the game that I wanted, much more detailed and expressive of the story that we got in Sims 2. So, I'm sure you guys already know, there's been a lot of YouTubers who have talked about how The Sims 4 kind of lacks in the story department. So this is always, if I'm remaking some, one of the original builds that are in the game, the whole point is literally just to make it feel more like a story, more like a well-rounded game that I want. So with the Goth family, this is giving them their graveyard back. This is giving them their story back, basically. I also just wanted to address that, I know I haven't been that consistent with uploading or anything. There's been a week gap of me doing a video, and that's because this one honestly drained the life out of me. And I know that's dramatic because this is literally me just playing a game and it's really not that serious, but a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of thought to, do this. And for me, it is something that I chose. I want this to be my hobby because I literally didn't have any hobbies. And so creatively, it's hard for me to get into because I am so not used to being creative, if that makes sense. I spent a lot of time just working and not being creative, and so it's hard to do it now. It does feel like work in some ways now, and to know when you have a limit. And for me, this size of house is my limit. I can't make bigger houses. I can't do bigger projects. This is just a lot. I was feeling really ambitious the other day and was going to redo that one lot in don't remember what it's called, the one that you got in Get Famous, where it's the equivalent of 3 small homes could fit on it because there's 3 driveways, and it's really confusing, and I don't know why they made it like that instead of just making it 3 separate lots. But whatever, maybe they thought, hey, you want an open world, here you go. But I don't think so, because that's a really bad way to do it. Anyways, I was I'm going to make the 3 houses on there. I've literally, since we got Get Famous, I've been trying to make 3 little houses on that plot of land, and I haven't done it. I haven't completed it because it's just too ambitious for me. I get so tired of doing it, and it's just because I like to decorate. I like to go over the top. I like to make it feel immersive, and I like to build a story and stuff like that. And to do that in a huge lot is just too much for me creatively at this point in my life. Trying to get my brain back into that creative mindset feels so hard sometimes. Sometimes I'm successful with it. and sometimes it doesn't work, and it takes me, 2 weeks to make one house. And sometimes that's just how it is. So I never want to shy around the fact that, things get hard for various reasons. And I'm not the type of person to hide that. Anybody who knows me in real life knows that I cannot hide my emotions. And I'm not going to start on YouTube videos. So I'm going to be open and honest. Sometimes it's really, really hard. And that's just reality, So this isn't to say like, oh, please feel bad for me or anything like that. I just want to be honest. Like, that's why it's taken me so long to get this stupid video up here. And I'm so like bitter towards it. Like, when you finish something and you're just like, I don't want to see it anymore. That's kind of me with this house right now. Even though I really do love how it came out. I'm actually really proud of how it came out. I'm just so tired of looking at it. So like, it's been multiple days over the span of me trying to make this video. But it's really cool. Like, I think it came out really cool. Let me just explain the floor plan a little bit. So this is a French floor plan, and it's from the 1800s. It was published in like a book or something, how they all were back then. And it's just for brick Victorian homes. They all kind of look like this, the Gothic revival sort of time, and just brick, but they're all red. And I just decided to make it, this sort of black gray brick just because it's the Goth family, but whatever. So there's 4 floors. There's a basement, there's your ground floor, second floor, and then an attic. So I think the idea was that you would only really be living on this ground floor and the second floor, because from what I can understand, and mind you, it's really tiny print and I can't really read it that well, but from what I can understand, I think the kitchen was in the basement, and essentially that would be used by servants and waitresses. Well, not waitresses, it's not a restaurant. What's it called? Maids, things like that. Those sorts of staff in a house that they might have had in that time, just because there's a service entrance to it, and in the picture it kind of looks like there might be some sort of sink. It's really hard to tell. So anyways, I put the kitchen in the basement, and it's kind of awkward for Sims to use just because there was supposed to be a staircase, a spiral staircase going all the way down the tower, all the way from the attic to the basement. And we don't have spiral staircases. And even with the modular staircases, it was really difficult. So this video might also be jumpy because there were multiple times where I had to stop and just mess with the staircase to try to get it to fit in a sensible way. And it still doesn't make sense. So it's just there. It's a staircase. It works. But anyways, so the basement level is like kitchen, which is much more grand than it probably would have been in an 1800s French house. So I'm going with the story that the Goth family renovated it at some point in their time living here. But it's got the kitchen, and then I made it sort of like a storage area. So there's like a whole bunch of cabinets, and then kind of like where the servants might sit at a table and eat their food, because they did not eat with the family. That is typically how that went. And it just sort of fits in there. And so like the second floor or first floor, it's confusing because the French don't follow the same rules that we do. So the first floor would actually be what we would consider the second floor, and the ground floor is like floor 0. So it's kind of confusing. But so this main floor is where you would probably do a lot of hosting and, talking with people who smoke a lot, probably. The 1800s, that's what they did. They just sat around and smoked. I don't know. In my head, that's what I picture. So whatever. It's basically the living areas. It's the dining room. And then I put, because, you know, the Goth family, they all play piano. So it's got like a piano front room. And then the second floor here is all bedrooms. So, oh, that was actually the attic, whatever. This is the second floor. So it's all bedrooms, and I'm making it so that they can all be on the same floor instead of shoving one of the children in the like cupola or the attic. Just because I feel like that's not the Goth family that I ever played with. They all loved each other in my game. So they're all just living together. And there really is only like one main bathroom. I think this would have been in the time, oh, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this would have been in the time where bathrooms were a relatively new and fancy thing to have in your home. I could be completely wrong, but this is also France, and things were different in France, so I don't know. But that's just how I picture it. It's like, why would they only have one bathroom? Why would they not have a bathroom on like the entertaining floor? But they don't. So that's just not how the floor plan was. Or I could, again, just be interpreting it wrong. So at this point in the video, you can tell that things have changed. I spent a lot of time in the debug menu just searching through the whole thing, trying to find anything that would have been useful for me. And that led me down a slippery slope in which I made an entire cemetery without recording, kind of on purpose, just because going through the debug menu takes so long, and you have to, like, there's no organization to it, so you have to spend forever just looking through it all and finding what you want. And I just honestly don't understand how people can go into it and just find what they need and be done. It takes me forever. I don't remember where anything is in that menu. So anyways, I cut all of that out. Whatever of it I did record. There's a lot that I just didn't record because I'm like, I don't want to edit this. So that whole graveyard that you saw a glimpse of, most of that is from the debug menu. And you might also notice I'm using that red shelf mod. I'll link it below. Yes, like a good YouTuber. That is extremely helpful. Like, I know I started this all being like, I don't use mods, I don't use custom content, but I'm slowly turning to the dark side. This red shelf is so helpful, so extremely helpful. And the way it works is it's red so that you can see it, and then you can turn it invisible by changing the shade, and so your Sims aren't affected by it at all. It's just there so that you can put as much clutter as you want, and it's the best mod ever. Other than like MC Command Center or whatever, which everybody should have too. And I think, oh no, I haven't made that video yet. I was going to make a video on me using custom content for like the first time in The Sims 4. In The Sims 2, I was a huge custom content user. I was all about the alpha Sims and making them look as realistic as possible because I was a teenager and that was what I wanted. So now I've just sort of shied away from it because I'm like, I don't get it. It's not for me. I'm not into alpha Sims anymore. And, you know, throw the whole thing out. So I have warmed back up to it, or that's not the correct phrase, but you know what I mean. And decided I was going to start using custom content again. But then when I like started to do the video, I was like, this isn't entertaining at all. Watching me be like, oh, that looks cool. Like, that's not that entertaining. So I probably will just delete all of that. Anyways, but you may notice there's a lot of like custom content objects that I have now. I won't upload them into builds because I don't want it to be hard for other people to download things. So now, like, this house on the gallery says that it's modded, but it's literally just that shelf. So use it. I think you should use it. Oh yeah, you should also, if you do download this, you should tell me that you were able to, because I'm having issues with the gallery with this house, it's just not showing up for some reason. It's not, like, I had one download of it after it being uploaded for a whole night, and I don't understand why. That's very unusual for my builds. And when I kept going back to look at my catalog, it wasn't there. It wasn't showing up, and I tried re-uploading it and it still wasn't showing up. So I don't even know if it's there. It's confusing to me. So the gallery as a whole is very confusing to me. I feel like it's not very user-friendly, but it's better than what we used to have. But anyways, I caved and bought the subscription to the Sims resource. So now I'm a CC person. I like custom content now. And that's that. All my Sims are going to have custom hair. The Cassandra Goth that I redid in here, she looks so alpha, and I didn't mean to, but I'm kind of into it, which is a problem. Oh, but what I was talking about, there's a whole bunch of things now that you were seeing in this video that were not there, and they're all from the debug menu. So yeah, this is in heavy decoration mode. So I was just like, screw it, we're gonna do everything debug. We're gonna go over the top, because sometimes I just want to avoid debug, and sometimes I want to avoid custom content too. Sometimes you do just want what the game gives you, but for this one I just wanted it to be as creepy as I could manage to make it, as spooky and Halloweeny as I could manage to make it. And that involved using a lot of debug items, and just I took everything out of debug and just that I wanted to use and just put it on the backyard. And then from there was well, I guess I'll just start making the graveyard, and I just kept going. So honestly, not great footage, so don't worry, you weren't missing anything, but that is why there's so many different things now that I didn't record. Also, Discovery University has now been announced, which I hate the name is stupid, but and I am not an EA game changer or anything. I have no ties to EA at this point in my life, so I can say whatever I want. I am not that excited about it. I don't know. I feel like everyone is saying you have to be excited about it. And don't get me wrong, in The Sims 2, University was everything to me. I played it obsessively. Would play a Sim from youth just so they could have some memories, and then take them to university and just let them die there. I I never got them out of university because I loved playing in it so much. And there's just things with the way that the EA and the Sims team have been doing The Sims 4 that make me not excited for this version of it. And I feel bad thinking that, but there's just some aspects of it that I'm worried about. The fact that the university worlds look extremely tiny. They look like they are just the school, and nothing else. And in The Sims 2, they were a whole town. You had frat and sorority houses that you could rush for and everything, and you had different dorms that you could live in and all of that. And I just feel like we're not getting that in this version of university, and so it's going to not be what I want it to be, because I loved that whole aspect of The Sims 2 university. But then again, I could be wrong. It could be amazing, and there's a lot of objects in it so far, and hairstyles and stuff that are going to be great to have in the game. I just think I'm going to be disappointed by the world. I didn't talk about it much with Realm of Magic, just because I feel like nobody cares. But Realm of Magic has been the best pack for me and how I play the game, because there is so much to it that I feel like I can add into. And I do feel like there was the starting point of lore and all of that I got into. I just don't think I'm going to have that with Discovery University. I think it's going to be the Caster's Alley aspect where there's just nothing there. Like, you sort of get let in into thinking, oh, there is something really cool there. And at first it is really cool, but then there's actually no gameplay and it just kind of lets you down. So I'm going in sour, but we'll see. I'll try to make kind of a, oh my God, if I could do like a 1950s, like college girl's bedroom, that would be so cool. I'd be really into that. I didn't talk about this build that much, but as you can see from the screenshots, I feel like I got what I wanted, which was much more of a goth family house. So thanks for letting me ramble and listening to me. If you got this far, I love you. Please leave me a like and a comment, subscribe, do what you want to do. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Okay, bye.